This is Ken Pyle at BroadbandVision's 2014 edition. We're with Bob Gessner of MCTV. Bob was just on a panel talking about all things video, and of course broadband becomes a big part of that. And one of the messages I got from that is you're looking increasingly at your company becoming and is more of a broadband company than anything.
Absolutely. And I think you'll find that's pretty much universal throughout the industry. Consumers want better internet, more internet, faster internet, the whole diversity of what the internet can provide. Linear television is still important for us, but it's becoming less and less so with shrinking margins, higher costs, and general unaffordability for customers, which forces us toward that internet model more than television.
Well, one of the things that you pointed out, you are in rural, Ohio. Incomes aren't the same as they might be in urban areas, particularly New York and LA, where a lot of these programming decisions are made. And margins just continually erode because you can't continue to put price hikes on your viewers, right?
Absolutely, Ken. That right now, my cost for a basic cable subscription is probably getting close to $50, and that's a lot in and of itself. But when you look at the next 5 years, say to 2020, the rate increases that are already built in through recent contract renewals will double that to $100 my cost before any of my network access costs, set-top boxes, DVRs, internet, or phone. Just, you're looking at $130, $140 a month TV bills, which is just going to be generally unaffordable and will only speed the decline of the television ecosystem.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot more cord cutting and just people looking for alternatives. And one of the thoughts you've had for a long time is the idea of a la bundles, right? So why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, a la bundle obviously grew from the notion of a la carte. I think a la carte absolutely cannot work. It would fail at the court level because there's no reason, I can't think of a compelling reason to force ESPN or ABC Disney to break apart ESPN and ESPNU, or to force Viacom to break apart MTV and Nickelodeon. That's their product. But there is certainly more than enough opportunity to split up the bundle of bundles, which right now Turner forces their way into the same bundle as NBC and ABC and Fox. Well, let's separate those, charge consumers for the component costs of those, and let them choose. It's actually a very interesting exercise. I often challenge people with that and ask them, if you could choose based on the bundles, the owners, which bundles would you do without? Which one compelling network of discovery would force you to buy the whole bundle? I think it would be a real wake-up call to everybody.
That's interesting, but at the same time, it seems like there might be some movement along these lines. This week there was a story leaked about the FCC and the idea of online video distributors being classified, at least some kinds of online video distributors being classified as MVPDs. So basically you'd have kind of cable operators operating on cable operators in a sense. How, as a broadband provider, as a cable operator, how would you feel about that sort of scenario?
Well, it would be interesting to see what would happen if Comcast were to offer a TV bundle over the internet to me, to my customers. But remember, I could do the same to them. I've often thought about that if anybody has an infrastructure they would like to defend against challengers, it's Comcast. They have the biggest network in the country. Do they really want young people in their garage creating over-the-top video providers or OVDs that can then encroach on Comcast's TV business? So I think the more likely players in that OVD space will be people like Apple and Google and Amazon, who would love to create content packages, but right now they cannot find they can't find a differentiation because they have to carry the exact same bundle as everybody else at roughly the same cost, if not more.
Yeah, which gets back to your all a bundle thing. If you can somehow let the content companies kind of create their own, I suppose, right?
Exactly. The ability to tell a consumer you can buy the A&E bundle without the Viacom bundle. Okay, that's great.
So from now you're the ACA chairman now, so kind of looking at this from a global perspective, what do you see as kind of these, content challenges, from the overall industry perspective? What's the biggest challenge going forward in 2015?
I think the biggest challenge we should have on the content front is making sure that the current TV paradigm remains in the television space and doesn't spill over into the internet. We've seen a little bit of that with Viacom blocking internet access. ESPN makes some small charges based on internet customers, and I think it's vital for the health of the internet and for the sake of consumers and their right to choose that we keep television as a television product and let the internet and video develop more on a personal per subscriber basis rather than the sort of linear model that's been developed for television.
Yeah, so things like per user charges for content, for accessing the internet, those sorts of things. I think you termed the cableization of the internet.
And it was a writer for, I think, the Wall Street Journal who first used that phrase, the cableization of the internet, which would refer to a content company forcing an ISP to pay a small fee for every internet customer so that anybody could access that content. And that just flies in the face of the spirit of network neutrality, but not the letter of the law.
It also flies in the face of broadband affordability. So, Bob, I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ken. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.